Welcome back to the channel. I'm heading to one of my favorite places of all time, Menards. I'm picking up a few 2x6x8s, 6 of them, and a 4x4x8 cedar tone. So that means green tree. It's just same product. Only difference is it's stained with the brown instead of the green, and it's easier on the finish. So there's really not much you have to do after you build this thing. So this project's been on the board for a little while now. I want to make a salsa garden out of it, so it's something I can knock out today. It's supposed to rain, or I'm not sure if it ever does rain, but figured it'd be a good project to be in the garage to start the morning off with. I am working with a dull blade on the chop, so I'll need to get a new one. Or maybe it's a trim blade, I can't remember, but it's barely getting through these things. I'm probably working the saw too hard. But I'll pick up a blade next time I'm at Menards. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting these little 4x4 strips, I guess. It's the width of two 2x8s. So 2x8s are 7.5 inches, so I'm guessing, what, 15 inches? So I was able to just buy one of those. And then I'm just using 3-inch screws to screw in the 4x4s into the boards. I'm putting 3 of these little 15-inch 4x4 blocks on each side. The sides are 8 foot long. I did not trim these 8-footers at all. I just went with the stock size. So they're probably a tad bit longer because nothing's ever 8 foot on the nose. When you buy an 8-foot board, it's usually 8 1/4, 8 1/8. But long story short is just using full length. Now after I built this thing, I thought, it's like, well, that stinks, because when I put the cap on, I'm gonna have to get longer boards, which means probably 2x10s. Instead of 2x8s. If I was smart, I probably could have trimmed these 8s down a little bit, so when I make my miter cuts on the cap board, that I could go with the 8-foot board, but it's not a big deal. My bed's bigger now, and I got to spend a little bit more money, but it's going to look good. So this thing's going to go directly in front of my smokehouse. I want to make it a salsa garden. I don't think we're going to get plants in this year. I've got a buddy that has 40 or 50 tomato plants that I've always mooched off of over the years, and he's always willing to let me go over there and get them. But there's something about growing it here at your property that I like, and I want to grow jalapenos and onions and all that good stuff too. So all the ingredients for a salsable garden, but it'll probably be next year. I've got one side done, just finishing the other side, and putting the end boards on. All you gotta do is really just line this stuff up. It's not hard. It's actually a really easy project. You just want to make sure you're on a level ground. The garage floor's got a little bit of a, I guess, a drainage slope to it, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's straight. It helps out dramatically. Once again, I'm just using a DeWalt impact driver. Great drill. I've had it for 5 or 6 years. I'll put a link in the description to it, but can't go wrong with the DeWalt tools, man. I got a ton of them, and I tell you, I've not had any DeWalt tools ever go bad on me. It goes back to what my dad used to always say. He always said, you know, spend the money on the good stuff, you won't have to replace it. And that's so true. You know, like, I have a Weber grill, obviously, and I bought that big Yoder smoker, and those things are built like tanks. You know, they'll last forever, and there's always parts available for them. So don't chintz on the tools. Get good tools. Maybe other tools, maybe the cheaper tools do well too, but it's just that DeWalt name I really like. So most part, it's almost the only tools I really have that I use, every day. Pretty much DeWalt tools. Just setting these corners real quick. Not a big hard thing to do. Like I said, the end boards are just the 2x8s cut in half, so whatever they were, 8 1/4, cut in half, and I just cap them on both ends, 2 on each side. Did have to use the clamps to get them to squeeze together, the longer boards at least, the 8-footers, because they got a little bit of a natural bow to them. Got all the sides done, got it screwed in temporarily. I'm going to come back and nail these 2 boards in the middle for support, because I'm afraid that it might spread when I start putting all the dirt in it, so that will help with that. Like I said, there will be a 2x8 cap on top of this sitting flat to cover the tops of the 4x4 so water doesn't stand on them. I'm going to put that on a later date and time for the fact I want to put dirt in this. And when you see me put dirt in it, it's going to look full. but after the first couple of rains, I'm more likely going to have to put more dirt in it. So I don't want to put the cap on quite yet. I want to make sure I fill it full of dirt. As you can see from the video, it doesn't look like we got the rain, or I think it was on its way. I think it comes later that day. You can see the winds blowing pretty good from that cherry tree I put in, and the wind chime in the background's pretty loud right now. So what I'm doing is just basically measuring from the front of the smokehouse, a paver patio, just measuring, making sure I'm equal on both sides. I think I'm about 12 inches off. And then what I do is go around the box with the spade and just kind of mark where it's going to be sitting at. That way I don't lose my place. Now obviously you want to get this level. You can see from the video that it's pretty high on that right side. I've got two levels on there, one going right to left, one going front to back, just making sure I'm in the ballpark of the bubble being in the middle. Cosmetically this will show if it's crooked, so you want to make sure this sits and looks good. I'm just chiseling out the bottom of that dirt. Now this area I'm really working hard this spring on. It should look really good by June or July. You know, obviously I've done a lot of work back here. I'm still waiting for that steel roof to come in. I should have a video out on that real soon, and I want to finish up the smokehouse, so that'll be an exciting project when I get that all wrapped up. And obviously I got beds, and I need to put mulch down. All that stuff needs to be done out here this year. I want to get this wrapped up. I want stuff growing. You know, as soon as I get the plants in the ground, the better. I've got her all leveled up. I'm going to go ahead to the dirt pile and get some topsoil. But first I need to get some firewood. And you're saying firewood, what are you using the firewood for? Well, the firewood's the filler for the raised garden bed. You don't need to fill 15 inches of dirt in a raised flower bed. This is temporary plants in here. They aren't going to have roots that go very deep or need to be very deep. So what you do is you use the firewood. And I know I love this firewood, and I hate to use it in the bottom of a raised bed and never see it again. But it'll help, you know, even out the balance inside the bed. Organic material, it'll break down over time, and it'll be good nutrients for the bed. Now I'll lay a row of firewood at the bottom, and then I'll top it off with topsoil. And I think I got a few bags of stuff in the garage that I'm going to throw on top of this too, that I've had for a while, just potting soil and whatnot, just to get out of my garage. Just layering this in any which way I can get them to fit. It's pretty simple. So the topsoil, I'm about low, so I'll show you a video here in a couple of weeks. I go out and get my topsoil on the property. I get it from my trail or around the property anywhere. I just scrape it up with my box blade. So this is soil that came from the woods, and it's good stuff, really good stuff. Now it's dirty, it's got some stuff in it, tree branches and limbs and whatnot, but for the most part it's good stuff. It's been sitting in the woods for, you know, decades, just decomposing leaves, and then you know, animal feces and everything else you can think of. So it's like really good stuff. You can see all the junk in it, but I'll rake that all out and make that look pretty good. The Kubota, it's a 2650 B2650. I couldn't work without it. I would have no back, so I use that all over the place. I've got that front end loader, I got the mower deck for it, and I got that box blade. And without the tractor, there's no way I could manage a property such as this without it. So I'm pretty glad I made a purchase. Now I don't have a zero turn. That's the downside. That was the deal I made with my wife. So it's either tractor or zero turn. And then the reason why I got the tractor too is because I put the entire yard in myself. I saved that money. I didn't pay a contractor. Contractor wanted like $15,000 to do my entire yard, which is around the house and then also the field area. So instead, I saved the 15, bought a tractor, did it myself. Here's these extra bags I had sitting around. I'm just gonna throw those on top. But other than the cap, I think I'm ready to go. I think I'm ready to start putting some mulch around the smokehouse and start cleaning up those edges a little bit, do some yard repair. Watch this place come alive here over the next month. Say by August, maybe September, Labor Day, this will look really, really good back here. I'll have everything where I want it, and be ready to move on to some other projects. Turned out good. I like it, and I like where it sits. That's a wrap. If you like these types of videos, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Please share with family and friends. And like I always say, I appreciate you spending time with the Home Pro Hero.